Oh, welcome to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. You know, I was at a Wawa today in the Jacksonville area, and there was a couple of folks that looked like they were high off something that was making me worry they might eat my face if I stuck around too long. So, as much as I hate to say it, that statement is probably pretty true. My name's Josh Allen. I got some other scallywags here with me, and we're going to kick off the first new football season edition of the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast, or what I like to dub this episode, the Nathan Rourke Appreciation episode of the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast, because holy cow, a whole lot of people are super excited off of one amazing play, and he proved that he's better than Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud and Will Mayo Eaton Levis and the wonderkind Malik Willis. So welcome, fellas. Welcome if you're already watching this episode. Sam's not with us tonight. She's got some stuff going on, so you have to deal with me. Chase Shumway, our favorite cheerleader, is watching the episode. What's up, man?
He's watching with his mom.
Hey, listen, you know, it is fun for all ages here at the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. Today I have with me, representing the Texans, Matt Briggs, A1 Day One Texans, representing the division champion Jacksonville Jaguars, Cody Cold Gaming. I got my man Kendall representing the Mayo Eaton squad down there in Nashville, and a person whose name is as awesome as mine, Josh Senior, representing the Indianapolis Colts. What's up, gents?
What's going on, brother? Glad to be here finally, right?
Representing the kings of the AFC South and the kings of the preseason so far, baby. What's up? Let's go. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's right.
It sounds like you're doing a concert over there, man.
Right? Yeah, man.
What's up?
I thought you were doing a concert.
He looks like he's going to do a stand-up set. Like, hey, what's the deal with elevators, right?
You know, since we're at what day 573 of asking Pat McAfee on, he's doing his best impersonation of Pat McAfee.
Right.
So, shout out to Pat McAfee. Yeah.
Hey, you know those moves R&B singers do? I think I got those down. It's like
that was a thing that happened. All right, so we're gonna get into a little bit of NFL news. Starting on a not so happy note, Alex Collins, former Seahawks and Ravens running back, dead at the age of 28. And we were talking a little bit before the show. Alex Collins, famous, more so because he trained for Riverdance. He trained to keep his footwork up to date. He trained doing Riverdance, would do like Irish dance touchdown celebrations. I'm ashamed to say I don't remember this guy. It's probably because I'm old and there's a million players in the league all the time now, and running backs, as we've talked about a couple episodes ago, are sort of a dime a dozen. But a sad, anybody passing away at the age of 28, it's just what a tragedy, right? So a little bit of sadness. Do you guys remember? Because I know one of you guys was telling me that he had a fairly decent season, almost 2,000 yards. I think.
I don't think it was 2,000. I think it was like 1,000 yards for the Ravens. Like I said, it was a fluky year. I think he made a Pro Bowl.
Okay, yeah. He had almost 2,000 yards total. I'm looking at the wrong stat line here. So,
and the next year he didn't do very good and didn't make the team. But the only reason why I knew he did the whole river dancing because that's why I think he made a Pro Bowl. Because 1 year before the Pro Bowl they had a talent show, and they did. They had to get ratings, right? So for his talent, he did a river dancing. It was pretty cool.
I wonder what Deshaun Watson did for his talent show.
It was under an OnlyFans account.
What was his last name? O'Connell? Farrell? What was it?
The running back, Alex Collins.
Yeah, Collins. Collins. Yeah. He's an Irishman.
Yeah, he definitely looks Irish. I mean, I guess it could be Irish. I don't know, man.
Hey, man, we coming off flavors, dude.
Apparently,
we do.
My favorite flavor is your flavor, Cody. You're our favorite drunken Irishman. So, so another little bit of news. Dalvin Cook has finally landed somewhere. The Jets, the New York Jets, and I've got to say that I'm going to be very happy when the Jets suck this year, because I think they're going to suck. I don't think they're going to be very good. I think they're like 7-9, 9-7. With all the hype around them, you would think they'd be a lot better than that. But Aaron Rodgers, he is quickly doing something that I didn't think was possible. He's almost more unlikable than Tom Brady. He's just annoying and he's just aggravating. I thought maybe Hard Knocks like would show a different side of him. I watched the first episode and I was like, nah, this guy's he's just annoying and he's awful and he's just a jerk.
But I mean, let's be honest though. I mean, a lot of us didn't like Tom Brady because he kept winning. Like Tom Brady, once he went to Tampa Bay, Tom was like the best ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he became Florida Man. The Florida Man version of any man is the best version of that man. Is my opinion. But yeah, Tom is still a little unlikable though. Like he's not like Peyton. You contrast him to somebody like Peyton Manning, who had like a very boisterous and funny personality, on top of being I guess Peyton Manning was okay at football.
I think he's the next Brett Favre. I mean, both have the same personalities. Both, stupid for going to the Jets, but
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't follow Brett Favre's footsteps and go down south and steal money from poor people, like Brett Favre has, quote unquote, allegedly done. But Brett Favre, people tried to tell folks that Brett Favre was just a bad human being, and it was like, no, he's not. And well, apparently, yes, he is. Another running back signing. Last little bit of NFL news: Ezekiel Elliott, the human Ewok, has signed with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have a little bit of a history of running backs that were good going there to sort of not be good. As much as it pains me to say it, Fred Taylor's worst years in the NFL were when he played for New England. And there's been a couple other running backs that have gone up there and just sort of not done a whole lot. So is Ezekiel Elliott still good?
No.
I don't think so.
Kendall was quick on that one. Kendall was like, no, absolutely absolutely not.
I mean, was he ever? There was like when he was at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
When he was at when he was at the Cowboys, everybody was talking about like how great that offensive lineman was. I mean, if you got like that great of an offensive line making holes for you, like couldn't any running back have went there and done what he did?
I don't know. They struggled for a couple of years to find a replacement for him. But
I mean,
now they got a short guy like doing the same thing, tearing us up.
I think Tony Pollard will be good.
Yeah, Tony Pollard.
Yeah. We'll see. Deuce Vaughn was interesting in that preseason game. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but he was also playing the backups, right? But a guy, short guy, that's an interesting juxtaposition. A very short man versus all these people who are taller than average, playing defense. Like, guy's got a low center of gravity. And I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Maurice Jones-Drew, but it reminded me of times that I remember Maurice Jones-Drew where people would just pile on him and he would just shoot out from underneath them somehow, like a little kid breaking free of his mom trying to make him take a nap, just like, no, I don't want to take a nap, running down the field with the ball. But
Deuce Vaughn is 5'5", by the way.
Oh, man.
How tall was Darren Sproles? He was like 5 in that area.
5'6". He was one inch taller than.
He was in that area.
Yeah.
And Maurice Jones-Drew was 5'7", so not that much taller,
He was a freaking bowling ball though. Dude was strong as a mug.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, the Colt Killer, aka Maurice Jones-Drew. The only person I think did more damage to the Colts than Mojo was Josh Scobie. Josh Scobie loved nailing crazy field goals against y'all, but so Ezekiel Elliott, I think Dalvin Cook will probably have a better year than Ezekiel Elliott. To me, I think Dalvin Cook's probably got more in the tank than Zeke does. I just tell you one thing, I'm tired of that stupid thing where he talks about eating or like feeding him.
Well, he did though, because he gained a lot of weight, and that's when he fell off.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. I mean, maybe after he beat up his girlfriend, she stopped cooking for him, so he had to go get fast food more often. I don't know. Hey, if there's any Cowboys fans listening, they're very angry right now. That was my favorite argument with Cowboys fans. Like, I guess he's good, but he's a terrible person because he beats his girlfriend. It's like, no, he doesn't. It wasn't true. I don't know. All right. Any other news you guys know of as far as excuse me, the NFL goes? I haven't seen anything crazy. There's been no roster cut downs yet, so that'll be probably the next big thing that happens. Is
this year we won't see it until after all 3 seasons.
Is it after all 3?
Yeah, they got rid of the whole cut this so many, cut this many. It's all at the end of the preseason.
Oh, the other big news, The Blind Side. Did you guys see that story?
Yes.
So Michael Orr, whose childhood into his adulthood in college was chronicled in the book turned movie called The Blind Side, is now suing his what everyone thought were his adoptive parents, but apparently, according to Michael Orr, allegedly, let me just put that out there, he says that these people scammed him into signing conservatorship papers rather than adopting him. And if you don't know what that means, it's the same thing that Britney Spears was fighting, right? A conservatorship gives someone power over you and your business affairs forever, for your whole life. It's usually only used for people who have severe mental disabilities or have a stroke and their capacities are diminished, or they're not able to function on their own and make decisions for themselves. So Michael Orr says that he's in a conservatorship to this day and received $0 from the nearly $300 million that movie made at the box office. Like,
well, and not even that, the book sales. Like, he hasn't seen a dime from the book sales.
It's crazy.
And it was a New York top seller for how long? Like, bro.
I don't listen. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I read through what I could find of some of the allegations that he's making. It kind of feels like it might be true. Like, these people, if you go, like the lady, her name's Anne. I guess it's I forget. I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but anyway, the people, they're all the other two kids. They all have like these celebrity careers where they go do like, they're just basically they're like rich white Mississippi Kardashians. And like they don't really produce anything, they don't really do anything constructive. They're sort of like these little mini celebrities that have made a bunch of money off of it. And you should look up the Instagram account of these people, because people are going ham in the comments of like all their posts that they've ever made. Like, oh, that looks like a really cool vacation you went on. Did you pay for that with the money that you stole from Michael Orr? Like the mom posted some picture of a kid that some foundation's trying to help out. And they're like, oh, are you going to make that kid sign a conservatorship too? Like you did Michael Orr, steal all his money? Like, people are just going, like, the internet, as always, is undefeated. But that's just wild. If they did that, that's just despicable. That's just, I don't even, yeah.
I mean, even
that's the world today, though, bro. Like, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, white people in Mississippi stealing money from poor black folks is a time-honored tradition in that state. So I guess it wouldn't surprise me very much if it turned out to be 100% true. Oh, and this isn't an NFL story. This is the last one I want to talk about. Sam, if she's watching this, is going to be grinding her teeth because she hates when we go along on the news segment. Anybody follow baseball? And I'm wearing the cap of my baseball team tonight. Wander Franco. Did you guys see this story? Dude is accused of having relations with a 14-year-old who apparently was blackmailing him, and he stopped paying the hush money. So she just leaked all the documents, all the receipts. She just let them all go public. And this dude, if he did like 10% of what looks like he did, bro could go to jail. Not only is his MLB career over, but dude deserves to have actual real world consequences. I can't remember a more shocking.
Well, I mean, that
story.
probably that Trevor Bauer situation, right, where he tied up old girl and just did son watching things to her.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
he deserves everything he's getting. If it's true, like if it's true.
And there's questions now. They just signed him to the Rays recently inked him to an extension, right? Like. So the question is, like, did the team know? Did they cover it up? Anybody that knew and didn't report it and didn't do something, they should be given the Pete Rose treatment, in my opinion. They should be banned from baseball for life. Shouldn't be able to be around the game anymore. Shouldn't be able to coach or do anything with the game. Like, if you knew about that and you did nothing, I'm not saying they did, but
they shouldn't be around the games or schools.
Right.
It's just it's disgusting. It's a disgusting story. And we talked about this in one of the chats. It proves my theory that I've had for a long time. The more tattoos you have and the higher they up are on your face and neck, the more likely you are to be a person who doesn't make good decisions to the point where you might end up in jail, right? Listen, if you want to have a face tattoo, have a face tattoo. But people, if you're having face tattoos all over and you're not thinking about like, well, how's that gonna look when I go for a job interview or when I'm trying to, what impression does that give, of me to people? And it's just crazy.
So apparently that guy had a face tattoo. Is what you're saying?
This guy, yeah, he has face and neck tattoos. Franco does all our. Benji,
Okay.
Don't be stupid. Nobody thinks that the Astros cheating in 2017 is worse than
actually there. If you go like on the ESPN Facebook, there is idiot people.
And those people, listen, I'm telling you right now, those people, you need to find out who they've.
I know
defending Franco.
I know this is a football podcast, but people are really, really seriously hurt over the Astros cheating in 2017.
Well, I mean, you guys are cheaters.
Hey, you cheat to win. That's why I'm a Tom Brady fan. Like, come on now.
Well, welcome to the Deflated Balls episode of the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. All right, so let's get into the games. Let's talk about those a little bit. We had, I guess you could call it real football. We had new games to watch. I don't know if it's real football or not.
Hey, it's football, right? I mean, it's so long.
So let's start with the team that everyone loves to hate on, the Mayo-Eaton Titans. So the Titans, the Titans starters. I don't know that any of the starters were on the field, but I'll give it to you, Kendall. What was your thoughts? What was good, bad, and different? Like, what do you think about this preseason showing?
I think Malik looks a whole lot better than what he did last year. And I mean, it's not saying much because he still isn't, ready. But I think he improves. We have a solid backup for Derrick Henry. From what I saw, the first team O-line, I think they were in for like 2 series. They look pretty better than last year. Can't get no worse than last year. Defense, of course, needed help, but of course Chicago had their first string in for some reason. Justin Fields with 2 long screenplays. But overall, I think they played pretty good. Will Levis still has some, mistakes he has to correct. But other than that, I think they did pretty good for their first, preseason game. So I'm waiting to continue to see how the quarterback battle is going to go between Will Levis and Malik Willis. But that's my take. That's
it was a wacky game too with all the turnovers, right? Like there weren't, for a while, there weren't a lot of like sustained drives where you could see what any of the backups on either side were really able to accomplish. There was some fluke turnovers, and then there was just some bonehead turnovers in there too.
Like, you would think Malik would do better, but he still was kind of making throws that you were like, why did you make that? So I
do think Malik Willis looked better.
Yeah, he looked better than he did last year. He wasn't still like good, but he looked better than what he did. So I give him an A+ for that. I just hope Tannehill stays healthy this year because it's gonna be good if he don't.
Yeah, and I think somebody said on Twitter that Malik Willis, like, he makes these amazing throws and then god awful throws. So his ups and downs are higher or more extreme, where Will Levis was a little more boring. Like even his mistakes were more boring, but his good plays were a little more boring. And we saw definitively that Will Levis is the Aldi brand Nathan Rourke. So it's
and also I think just Malik just has to work on like last year. If he got pressure, he would just take off, and he's doing a lot more throwing now. Yeah. He missed a lot more opportunities where he could have ran the ball. Actually, his athleticism is bar none. So I think he needs to just work on reading better still and learning when to take off the run.
Yeah, it's weird to sit and criticize these guys when I know that, like, if we took the 11 best commentators from the AFC from the Fan Battle Sports Network and took the 11 worst NFL players and we're like, all right, we're taking you guys down, they would beat us senseless. They would beat us like 87-0 in a game of flag football, right? Yeah. But then you look at them compared to like other players in the league, and it's like, oh, that guy sucks. Like, it's such a weird, like, the margin of like talent. It's funny, like you forget that it's like the top 1% of the top 1% of football players that you're watching, because they don't look as good as the best, but they're still better than 99% of human beings on the planet. I think one thing that
shit though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Sure. I'd be running my mouth 100%. If I did even one single good thing against the worst NFL player, boy, I would, the taunts would be ridiculous. But I think the one thing that I hated the most from that game was the fact that that Justin Fields threw 2 screen passes where the receivers did all the work and scored the touchdowns, and people were like, Justin Fields is the greatest quarterback ever.
I'm like, dude, they're playing second, third string defense. What do you expect?
DJ Moore, DJ Moore is still DJ Moore. I mean, that dude is a beast. Yeah.
They showed the stat line for Justin Fields. It was 3 out of 3 completed passes, and it was 164 yards with like 2 touchdowns. And the way that that's worded out, you think he was out there slinging that rock down the field,
right?
But really, it was only 7 air yards for him.
And it's funny the difference between a lot of the teams, like where some of them had the starters out and others didn't. Like, it's weird. Like, so it's so hard to tell like who's really doing well and who's playing somebody who just isn't as good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of people. That's the bad thing about preseason too. Is a lot of people look at the stat line, and stats don't always tell the game, right? Like. Yeah. Just because they have so many yards doesn't mean that they're worth a damn. So
right, you would say that with CJ Stroud back there,
or who was it? Was it the San Francisco quarterback that threw an interception right into the hands of a defender in the end zone, and the guy just bobbled the ball, and the receiver caught it? So that counts as quote unquote a touchdown, right? But that's not a touchdown throw like at all. Right. In the preseason especially. The stat line doesn't tell the whole story. So let's go to our next team where the stat line does tell the whole story. Let's go to the Texans. Matt Briggs, can you tell us how quickly will the Texans be moving on from CJ Stroud since we've determined that he's a bust?
if that's the case, then everybody's a bust besides Nathan Rourke.
I mean, Nathan Rourke and Trevor, like they're the only 2 that did anything worth anything,
right
on the field.
Well, like y'all said, only 3 starters of the whole team played. It was a guard and a wide receiver, and of course CJ Stroud. He was going up with second, third string O line. He was getting hit as soon as he hiked the ball. So he's a rookie. Of course, he's going to make some rookie mistakes. He was 2 for 4. 27 yards in interception.
Yeah, and you can't tell me that these guys, even these high draft picks, due to have been playing at a high level in college, you can't tell me there's not some nerves involved that first time you step onto an NFL field with other NFL players, and because you were drafted so high, everybody's looking at you. So I do wonder with both. We'll talk about the Colts next, but with Richardson and and Stroud, if there was an element of just nerves a little bit, like butterflies in your stomach. And
I think he does.
Of course he's going to say it after the game, he's going to say the nerves got me. That's the only thing he really say. But the thing I'm going to take account for is the players on the other team. Like the guy who picked it off, he even said, Mills was the type of player. After the game, he went to him and said, hey, man, what can I do to beat that next time? Like Mills is becoming a master of the game. Like he's learning from different people, and that's the only thing I can appreciate from my quarterback. Right, instead of going out to massage parlors, and getting the rub down, he's actually trying to get his game better.
Yeah, so, I think it's silly for anybody to look at what happened on this week's preseason game, whether it's rookie or not, and try to make some long-term determination. Right. So other than Stroud, what stood out to you?
That's what I was about to get. We got Texans fans saying Davis Mills is the answer because he went 13 for 15, 100 something yards and a touchdown. But like I said earlier, stats don't tell the game. Our rookie Tank Dell was like this. Throw the ball up. All the balls were down low where the receivers couldn't catch it. He had a back shoulder pass to Tank Dell, and Tank Dell made of course, the Jaguars throw was an amazing play, but this catch by Tank Dell was amazing. Like he hit it in the air, and while he's on his back, he catches it again for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a cool play to watch.
But so and Davis Mills is still Davis Mills, throwing behind the players in the dirt. He's not the accurate quarterback. that we need.
Yeah, I think Davis Mills and Tank Dell are the opposite end of crazy reactions for preseason football, right? Like people are talking about Tank Dell like he's going to be in the Hall of Fame off of one preseason game. Like some of the Texans fans are crazy over it.
No.
You know,
I don't think I don't think he's going to be. I agree with you. I don't think he's going to be Hall of Fame, but I do think he's going to be a decent receiver, something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think CJ Stroud has the potential to be a great quarterback, and so does Anthony Richardson. But whether or not they're great, good, bad, or whatever, won't hinge on anything.
But and I catch myself doing sometimes too. But especially doing stuff work like this, I kind of pull myself back. But people just get excited because our team's been trashed so long. Like you have to be. You know, I mean, you and Cody definitely.
People also just get excited the first week of preseason. Right. The first week of preseason is always the most exciting, and then you get to like midway through the fourth quarter of that preseason game, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, can we just do real football now?
But other than the game, like the only thing that, of course, it was second, third string offensive lineman. No starter besides Kenyon Green played. That worried me, but. Like I said, it's second string, so hopefully we have no injuries, because if we do, we're screwed. But other than that, the whole team they look good for preseason. So yeah, I'm excited for the season. Just waiting for that week 1, ready for us to get in our ass kicked by the Ravens. So
I think the most important thing out of all 4 games, I don't think there were any injuries. I don't know about the Colts game because I didn't really check, but I don't know that there were really any significant injuries, at least.
We just have concussion.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tank Dell gonna be a problem though. From what I saw, I was like, he's quick.
That's the thing. Yeah, right. That's the thing about him. His speed is what's getting people. So I hope we use him like the Deebo Samuel of the Niners. Just put him everywhere.
Yeah, if he can turn into a guy that runs.
Yeah, John Mitchell.
Yeah.
If Tank Dell can turn into a guy that has that speed and can also run crisp routes like. Somebody like Calvin Ridley's got to prove it on the field this year, but when he was playing, like he was that guy. He was fast and he could break your ankles too. Like if Tank Dell
like a Tyreek Hill, like a
Tyreek
Hill, we'll see. I'm okay with it. If that can happen, I'm here for it.
All right, so let's go to the commentator who has one of the best names. He's tied for best name on the podcast tonight. Let's talk about the Colts a little bit. All right, Josh Senior. Is what are your? Let's start with the elephant in the room, right? Anthony Richardson, he threw that interception. People started to freak out like they did about CJ Stroud. What are your thoughts on CJ or Richardson, how he did?
Well, they didn't freak out because once he threw the pick, the coach took the receiver McKenzie on the sideline. Is like, hey, that was your assignment that you broke out of, and he told him that, yeah, that's my fault. Hey, I should have, I should have been at that spot when he threw the ball at him. Also, Anthony said that he shouldn't have tried to play hero ball. He should have just thrown it away or should have ran for it. But I from those moments from the coaches, the coach blaming himself, the receiver blaming himself, and AR blaming himself. I felt good because for the first time you got everybody on one accord saying, taking accountability for their mistakes. Because, like I said, the head coach said that he has to throw a better play, or create a better play for AR. My only concern, would be the defense. Being that we're waiting on.
I will before you go on about the defense. I will say this about Anthony Richardson: that dude's athleticism is through the roof. Did anybody else see him straight up this?
Ran him over.
Dude,
ran him over.
God.
See,
man, Henry who? Like, bro.
That's why Gator fans compared him to like a hybrid of Cam Newton and Tebow. Like his Cam Newton, he would run, but he didn't really truck guys. That was not what he was known. He could do it, but Tebow loved running through people, and that's it. Anthony Richardson has a little bit of that in him. He had a few plays at Florida where at the end of a run, like he could have kept running, and he would frustrate Florida fans because it's almost like he would look for a dude to hit, So and you saw that in that one play where he trucked that poor defensive back that tried to step up to him. So
I had to remind myself that it's preseason because. When I saw that play, I said, "Oh, holy shit! I never seen Andrew Luck tried this shit, but he got himself hurt. But I never seen anybody, from a coach quarterback love contact. I mean, he ran his ass over.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's just preseason, just 7 yards. Okay, I'm not gonna get excited. Okay, it's just a one play. But after that pick, he showed poise. He went down the field, made some couple passes to Pittman, to Colin, the tight end, Colin Granson. He would love the one that Alec Pierce dropped. That could have been a touchdown.
That was a beautiful throw. That was as much as I have dogged on Anthony Richardson to Josh Senior and on Facebook and in chats and all kinds of things. That throw right there, I saw it and I said, oh no, because if he starts making throws like that on the regular and the receivers haul him in, like oof,
that's dangerous. The offensive line still needs some work. I know there was depth line like Matt said his line is. It still needs some work. We got our depth is banged up or lack of. We definitely need help on that. I know we got some bombs here and there for the past couple of weeks. We definitely need some help on that. Defensive side, we're waiting on Shaq to come back. He was on a pitch count, so he didn't hit anybody. He was just out there. I like the way the rookie cornerback Darius Rush got a pick six. That was his. He said that was his first, reception. I guess you would say,
right.
reception in the NFL, first play, and he got a pick six. So he feeling excited. Of course, you can't keep that ball because it's preseason. Nobody care about that. What really disturbed me was
I'd keep it. If it was me, I'd keep it.
What really blew a head gas for me is kicking. We paying a kicker $20-some million, and he missed a 22-yard field goal. I was like, you can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass. But
he should have something in his contract. Everyone he misses under 30 yards, he's got to give back like $1 million or something. I bet he'd fix his problem real quick.
Should have kept Blankenship.
No, hell no, fuck that. The run game is promising. Everybody knows the elephant in the room is JT right now. He came back to practice today, which he still's on pup list. Evan Hall, he had a couple of good runs. Deion Jackson had a couple good runs. Some guy named, his last name is Funk, but he probably won't make the team, so I don't know his first name. He did pretty well, so it was promising. I mean, I wasn't highly invested in the game because I knew it was preseason, so I wasn't sitting there watching every play-by-play. I think once AR left, I left. I wasn't heavily invested in it. Maybe the third game, if he does play a little longer, I'll be invested in it. But I knew they said they played like one quarter and they'd be done. I was done.
Yeah, even the Jags game, like I was watching it, but it was on in the background while I was doing other stuff. I was cooking dinner, I was helping my daughter with something. Like, I went back and watched like certain plays, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, you can only watch so much preseason football because it's ultimately a meaningless game. And for me, like I'm not skilled enough to evaluate a player's performance on the field, like a third string guy, one versus the other, to see who should make the team and who shouldn't. I don't know. I'm no coach, but it looked to me when I watched the condensed version of the Colts game, they looked like the team I thought they would be, where they are Anthony Richardson developing his skills and a couple of drafts away from being serious contenders, right? You got a couple of holes to plug,
right.
In a couple of areas. And if AR can develop into what everybody hopes he can be, a couple of years down the road, the Colts,
one thing I didn't mention, one thing I didn't mean to interrupt you. One thing I didn't mention is that his quick release, he's getting the ball out pretty quick. He's not allowing that defender to come in his face. I mean, that one besides that pick he threw, and when the guy was in his face, he's been getting rid of the ball down the field pretty quick. I was like, I like that.
Yeah, he's just got to get it to the right spot, right? Like that's the thing with him is can he read the defense quick enough and figure out where it should go? And I think what you're going to see, this with Stroud and Richardson. They're going to have a couple of weeks where they're going to have an okay first couple of weeks, I think, both of them, and then teams are going to have tape on them, and then you're going to see defensive coordinators they're going to disguise some coverages, and you're going to see some egregious throws from both. And it doesn't mean that they suck. It just means that NFL quarterback learning to understand when he's being baited into a throw. I think you're going to see some of that, and you're going to see it like if Levis, God forbid, for the Titans, if Levis gets in, or even Malik Willis, I think still they're going to see some packages where they get baited into some throws that a couple years down the road. I mean, we even saw it with Trevor. I mean, his first year was a disaster, but even that Houston game at home last year, the Texans defense was baiting him into throws. That one pick that he threw in the end zone that literally made me throw my hat 4 rows down, and I had to go apologize to some lady because it hit her in the back of the head. I was so mad. But anyway, you see that with rookie quarterbacks and developing quarterbacks. But we'll see what happens. Again, I don't think that. I think you're stupid. If you look at any of those games and get too high or too low based on a rookie's performance in their first preseason game, I think it's a little bit silly. With the exception, of course, being Nathan Rourke, which brings us to our last game.
How dare you just call out the whole group on Facebook of the AFC South fan battle?
Oh, there's a bunch of dummies in there.
How dare you?
I literally, when I came back, I'd been away for a little bit because I had some stuff going on, but I came back and I literally said, "What's up, morons? I'm back," because it is filled with morons. Like, I love them all, but if you're not a Jags fan, you're a moron. I don't know what to say at this point. How can you look at the Jags and not want to be a fan?
Hey, you said that, me having Josh, I shouldn't be part of the morons.
That's true. You do get a Josh exemption. That's the only exemption outside of being a Jags fan. So yes, thank you for reminding me, sir. So that brings us to the greatest team under the sun, God's favorite football team from America's county, Duval, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cody, take it away. Tell us how great the Jaguars
I thought
were.
Sam was gone for the week. Bias, man.
Listen, I've given compliments to all of the other teams. I've said good things about I said good things about the Titans even today.
You did. I gotta give you that.
You got to give me credit.
I give you credit.
All right, so depth. That was my key takeaway. We haven't had this much depth since, I would say, 2000. It is insane. So I'm going to start off with this. Like, one of the draft picks, Antonio Johnson, I thought that he would drop down to nickel, and then Gregory Jr. came and showed the out. Getting some, fumble recoveries and then punching the ball out close to the end zone. So that was insane. He's definitely going to be competing for that starting nickel spot with Trey Herndon. The other thing was, Trevor Lawrence throwing the INT. Yeah. Y'all saw it, right? But so did y'all's quarterback, so y'all can't say nothing. And y'all's quarterback didn't throw the touchdown or the two-point conversion right after. So
in my defense, he wasn't the starting quarterback.
Yeah, true. But you wanted him to be.
Same for me too. Same for me. Yeah, same for me.
I don't want Malik to be starting now.
Listen, okay. I'm gonna just be transparent and say when Trevor threw that pick, I was so mad I turned the TV off for a couple minutes. I was mad. I was what? And I even said to myself, I said, "Why is he even in the game? Why is he? We know what he is what he is."
That's what I wanted to. Why did y'all have Trevor Lawrence in the game?
Why is he even in the game?
Why did y'all start him?
Why?
He should have said.
That's how Peterson does it, I guess.
For the fans, I enjoyed it.
They want to show out, man. They want to show out. That's all it is.
Well, and I will. When they recovered that fumble, they did what they did. Yeah, they did what they did in that playoff game when they recovered that fumble. It's like a light. You could tell like a light went off, and they were like, "Nah, we're about to score," and it was just they were just in business mode. But that first pick, man, that was so frustrating.
Well, my thing is like, why have him out for so many drives? Like, one drive is good enough. Okay,
because if he get injured, it's over.
Right.
Well, he was out for so many drives.
We got Nathan Rourke.
He was out for so many drives because he threw that pick. I guarantee that's why he stayed out there. Like, nah, bro, you're staying out for a little bit. You got to go. We can't leave on that sour note.
I'm waiting on week 1. So
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, so the pick itself, it looked like he was throwing to Evan Ingram, and it looked like Calvin Ridley led his man over to.
Yeah, but Trevor has to throw that ball away.
And then this is what was said after, like in the press conference. Trevor said that the ball slipped, which is something I would have said if I was covering for a teammate too.
Yeah, even so, you know, regardless of whatever they say, in that scenario, when you're running in that direction and you don't have somebody who's just wide open, where if you whiff on the throw, nobody can touch it, like a guy that's just completely with no defender around him, throw that ball away.
If you
throw it away, you're out of the tackle box, you throw it away.
There's some great quarterbacks in the NFL that could have made that throw. And it's the perfect time to try that opportunity in the preseason.
I agree.
It doesn't matter.
All these interceptions, all these crazy plays, the Titans not being able to cover screen passes, the interceptions from the rookies, the interceptions from Trevor. That's where you want it, is in the preseason, right?
Yeah,
get all that junk out of your system, bro. Like figure it out. Like get all the mistakes on tape so you can get rid of those and fix them. But I just want to read you guys some scores from a few years ago. Here's my takeaway from the game. Is exactly what Cody said at the beginning. It's depth, right? There have been it was fun to watch a team when our backups came in actually hold their own against the backups of other teams. Because I'm going to read you the scores when it used to be a 4-week preseason back in 2019. First week of preseason, Ravens 29, Jags nothing. Eagles 24, Jags 10, Dolphins 22, Jags 7, Falcons 31, Jags 12. Right, like there, and that was like what preseason almost always was for the Jags. Right, like as soon as the starters would come out, their backups would beat the brakes.
It wasn't
off
just
of
the
our
preseason;
backup.
it was actually, during the season.
We're talking about preseason right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can make that.
I was trying to. It was the same.
Why are you,
but it does.
why are you so mean?
No, that was funny. I because that's a valid point. It does translate into the regular season because some of these guys are rotating in. You do get injuries, right? So it was nice to see that it's not a total disaster. I don't want anybody on any team to get injured because I think injuries are just awful. But it's nice to know that we have guys that are competent, that are able to step in if they're called upon.
Here's a question for you and Cody. I don't know who all the starters were. Who started on the offensive line?
It was a combination offensive line that I don't think you're going to see in the regular season. So that what it looks like to me,
it was definitely they were trying people out.
They are swapping all now. The one thing that was great is the rookie.
Harrison.
What's his name? Harrison. Yeah. He was road grading people on run plays. Like there's one clip going around where he literally takes a guy, gets him by his armpit and just tosses him like a rag doll.
Wow,
I don't know if that guy was a starter for the Cowboys or not.
Yeah, this is a freshman offensive line we're talking about that didn't get any first team reps in training camp because
I was about to say that was the one question mark I had for you guys was the offensive line. Because of the suspension of Cam Robinson and the rookie and whatnot, they look pretty good. I mean, for the series I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys had their starters in though, so I would take it with a grain of salt. We'll see next week because I think what you're going to see more starters. I think Detroit's going to have some of their starters playing when our starters are in. Too. All right,
go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I think next week will tell the tale more for that offensive line. We'll see.
We got to play next week.
So.
Detroit. Yeah.
Right now we have Walker Little at that right tackle spot that Cam Robinson would be
in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question, Kendall?
Yeah, I was just gonna say for Cody, how do y'all think? Because I honestly don't know. I know, I think personally, non-biased, I think the Jags are gonna have a good offense with everybody they have, but I just think that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that y'all defense is going to be suspect because I don't know who y'all have. And I'm not going to say it's bad, but I'm just going to say what y'all think it's going to be.
Yeah, I'll let Cody go first, but I have a very specific answer that I think for that.
So we got some players that need to step up. Josh Allen is on his contract year. Trayvon Walker didn't do what a first round
podcast and play some football.
What a first round pick should do. But this is the second year under Mike Caldwell, so the growing pains that we had in the first half of the last year's season should be going away by now because they did pick it up in the second half of the season last year. So, I mean, they even came up with the moniker Jay Villains, and then they added some depth or whatever from the 14 picks in the draft. Yeah. But now they got Clowney coming in or whatever because I guess they're still questioning the pass rush. But then you go from and he would probably be like the third edge. So he would replace like Caleb on Chason. And Caleb on Chason had 1 sack last year. But then
that guy, they could cut him tomorrow and I wouldn't shed a tear.
Yeah, but then Jadeveon Clowney had 2 sacks last year. So really, what are you doing?
Clowney is more of a run stopper. So if y'all need help on the run. Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that's the thing. I don't think we do. Yeah, I don't think we do need help on the run. So the way that I see it is the interior of the defensive line is solid, right?
Yeah.
The linebackers are a little suspect. The secondary is good. Like, are they great? I don't know, but the secondary is pretty good. So it's really
I think everybody's sleeping on Tyson Campbell. I really do.
Tyson Campbell is very good. He's we've got some guys on there. They're good. They're good enough certainly to win a division, right? And I'm not guaranteeing we're going to, but like they're talented enough, to be able to do that. The Jags defense will live and die on how they're able to put quarterbacks on their butt. We lost to the Kansas City Chiefs because the defense could not sack Patrick Mahomes or what's his face, the backup who used to be our backup, Chad Henne. We couldn't put them on their butts like that. We couldn't stop drives. We couldn't get any pressure on them. So to answer your question, the most suspect part is actually Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, right? Like those guys those edge rushing guys, because Devon Hamilton, Roy Roberts,
Robertson Harris.
Yeah, Robertson. He's got 3 names. Always throws me off. The interior guys are the ones that generated the most sacks, the most pressure last year. And people are talking about Arden Key, and I know he went to the Titans. Listen, Arden Key is a dude. Like he's just a guy. Like he's not like he's okay to good. Like but like the loss of him, and it's really like Chad Muma and the linebackers, and then those edge rushers. If they are good this year and they can improve and actually put pressure on the quarterback, then I think this defense will be improved.
Thank you for bringing up Chad Muma. I think he's going to step it up big time this year. Him and
I will say this, and not being an excuse, but it is harder to like get after the quarterback in today's NFL because, like Josh Senior said with Anthony Richardson, he has a quick release, right?
And he's freaking 260 pounds.
Yeah, and most of these new quarterbacks do. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is like, has one of the quickest releases in the NFL.
The check down to the running back has deleted all the sacks, right? Like as soon as you're about to get hit, you check it down to the running back.
Yeah, but it's not even necessarily about like the sacks. The Jags did not create enough pressure to get people, to get quarterbacks out of their rhythm and you got, if you can get them thinking about being hit, then if they're thinking about being hit, they're not thinking as much about where the ball needs to be and the decision they need to make to throw the ball, right? And the Jags just didn't do, statistically speaking, the pass rush was their worst unit, their worst statistic, of all the parts of the team last year. So if they get better there, I think you'll see improvement overall.
Well, the biggest improvement for Josh Allen is dumb-headed plays, right? Like there's 2 plays.
No, that's Trayvon Walker. Josh Allen makes smart plays. He just disappears.
Yeah, you're right. Trayvon. You're right.
Trayvon Walker is a bonehead, is what I characterize him as. But yeah, that's really the thing for Trayvon Walker. If he can get better, I mean, he had the first game of the season, he had that crazy like long-armed interception against Washington, and then followed it up with like a offside penalty or something. Then he had the penalty that essentially sealed the game when they lost to the Texans in Jacksonville. He had another one
against the Chiefs in the playoffs, didn't he?
Yeah, against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like but there was another regular season one also. I forget which game that he did something stupid and nearly cost him the game. So Trayvon Walker has got to just play smarter. And I'm not saying he's a dumb guy. Like, these guys are hyped up. It's it's very physical, everybody that, but he's got to learn to tone that back. And he's got to learn too, that those refs are looking differently at how the quarterbacks are hit. Because that was a lot of his bonehead stuff, was the way he was sort of putting a little extra push on the quarterback or whatever at the end of a play when he had made a decent play. So we'll see what happens. But
I'm sorry, Cut. I didn't mean, what were you saying?
I just think there needs to be like more pressure from other positions like cornerback or safety or like all those, like a different blitz package for these quicker quarterbacks. That's on
the defensive coordinator, right? Like the players don't scheme, the players run the scheme. Right. Has anybody watched that quarterback series on Netflix though?
Fantastic.
I have. Yeah,
that's
one
seen it all yet. Genius things that Andy Reid does is he gives the players the ability to scheme up plays and speak about like the strategy that they're running against the other team, and it's just genius, right? Like he has that's why Andy Reid is just a genius in general as far as how he coaches. It's just always seemed like his teams are super body and all his players are ready to run through a brick wall for him all the time, and you sort of see why. You see some snippets of why in that Netflix series if you haven't checked it out. So,
I can care less about this series. Well, it shows the Colts,
33-0 comeback.
It's brutal too. And people, Kirk Cousins, like he's boring, but he's such a.
It made me like him more. Like I like it made me like him more.
What I liked about some of these guys are, they're not normal guys, right? And they're very weird. Like Patrick Mahomes is kind of weird, man. Like he's very driven, and like some of the stuff he does, it's like just not. He's not. It's hard to being a guy who has no athletic skill. It's hard to relate to him you know. But then you see Kirk Cousins, he's going home and reading his kids stories before they go to bed, and he's just doing normal, boring dad stuff, and people were dogging him for it. Was the crazy thing to me, and I'm like, he's just
driving a 2008 Astro van, like why you mad? Because he's saving money, bro. Like
he's living the regular people life.
Right,
bro, and he's gonna have money to live a nice life when he retires too. So
I don't know. For me, the disconnect was like him opening that like door to his little shrine room or whatever, and he's like, "And here's when I was a male cheerleader."
that was awesome.
But the only person that I hated from the whole series was Mariota. Like when he gave up on the team, I was like, "Yeah, I don't like this guy." Like how you're going to give up because you got benched? Like, come on, dude.
It was weird. I think
wasn't it?
My take on that, and this is 100% opinion. I wonder if he's gotten some mental health issues, right? Because
I can see that.
Because the pressure, because that's also, it's not normal to live under the sort of scrutiny and pressure that these guys are under all the time. Mm-hmm. And yes, you shouldn't quit on your teammates. Not saying that that's justified, but he just seemed sort of sad. The whole way through he just didn't seem like the other dude, like Kirk Cousins. There was moments of joy, like in Patrick Mahomes, you could tell, like, yeah, there was struggle and pain, but like he seemed to enjoy a lot of the stuff too. But Marcus Mariota, bro, he just seemed like he was struggling the whole time. Like, I hate that for anybody. Like, so.
Have y'all talked about Manziel issue?
No, that's what I was going to mention next. Is I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard
fantastic.
I haven't seen it.
Some people are asking why the stuff he says he did in that thing aren't enough to disqualify him, his Heisman.
It's like he admitted to doing some gosh awful
I want to go
stuff.
Watch it.
Yeah, like
his dad too.
Like if you're gonna take it away from Reggie Bush for getting paid, you got to take away from Johnny Manziel for the stuff he openly admitted to doing.
I'm for it. I've never liked Johnny Manziel.
Did his dad try to fake a
heart attack?
Yeah.
So you got to practice. Yeah.
So he get out of a drug test.
Drug test. Yeah.
He was hot. He knew he'd been smoking weed. That part, I've seen that clip. He knew he'd been smoking weed and possibly doing other stuff. And he knew he was about to get drug tested. So he was texting his dad, telling his dad to fake a heart attack so that he could tell the team, like, oh, I got to go, whatever, take care of my dad.
It was for the combine, wasn't it?
Something.
No,
was
it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could be getting parts of it wrong because I just saw like a
whatever, but I'm not saying everything that he did was fantastic. I'm saying the way that they told the story was fantastic. Like the untold stories from Netflix to me is way better than 30 for 30 ESPN.
Well, certain 30 for 30s were good, but a lot of them they made too many. They found a lot of stories that were just boring to tell.
I'm with VT.
Yeah,
I'm with VT.
I've watched that too. Me too.
In the comments,
what do you say?
He said, just give it back to Reggie Bush already.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you got to do it one way or the other. Like either do that, or if you're gonna say Heisman Trophy winners have to have this crazy high level of moral integrity and everything. Listen, man, like if you looked at everything I did when I was in high school and college and tried to decide whether or not I should win an accolade based on my character, I think everybody could probably say the person that you were in high school and college is not the person that you are now. There's lots of decisions I made that would not look good if people knew about them.
That too, but what he got deducted for is legal now. Like people are getting paid to play college football. So I mean, he just played in the wrong era, so he gets punished for it. Like I get it was against the rules back then, you know what I mean? But the NCAA, we make this argument for years.
Well, but he wasn't the only one getting paid either, right? That's always been the big, sort of like out in the open.
So what's the difference with Pete Rose then?
Yeah. He should get in.
But Pete Rose bet on the game. I think that's
but betting is betting is legal now. So I don't know.
I'm for Pete Rose.
I don't think Pete Rose should still be banned from baseball. To be honest with you, it's been 40 years. Like I think it's been a
long time. That's my new team now. So that's what I'm going hard for right now.
Oh Lord.
All right, fellas, let's wrap this thing up. We're almost at an hour. So, this has been, it's been an interesting week of football. Gets us one step closer to the regular season. Cody, where can people find you if they want to get more content from you about the reigning division champs?
So at Cody Cole Gaming on X and Facebook, and then at Jack's Fan Battle. And we're doing a live podcast tomorrow at 8 with Miss Nika, who was fan of the year for the Jaguars.
Ooh,
Oh, that's cool.
that's wonderful, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got shout out tomorrow.
All right, Josh Senior, where can people find you?
On the X, because I almost said Twitter. Thank you, Cody.
I didn't know we were going X now, but all right.
Official Josh Senior, and tomorrow we'll be live streaming at the Hustle Mob at 9:30 Eastern.
All right, Kendall, where can people find you if they want to get more content from you?
On X2, introvert_K, introvert without the O, so it's just like an abbreviation. So
Gotcha. All right, and Mr. Briggs.
Yeah, you can find me. I'm not saying X, Twitter, or Facebook.
It sounds weird to say
Right.
you can find me on X because
Right.
X is what
Right.
people call ecstasy. And
Right,
it's,
yeah,
man, you can find,
Look,
man, you
Yeah,
can
think
find me
about
any
that.
day of the week. You can find me
Right.
on X.
Hey, I'm just trying to give DMX shout out.
Yeah.
you get a social media platform. You can find me on A1 Day One Texans. Also, you can find me on the Texans Fan Battle Podcast Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our network YouTube channel. You'll be entered a chance to win a jersey of your own, of your choice. Even if it's a Mayo jersey, you can win it. So make
If
sure
you're a Titans
you
fan, we'll
subscribe.
even throw in a bottle of helmets.
Yes.
Oh,
and,
Lord.
and that's limited edition because they're going out of business. So, collectors.
Oh. All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter or X or whatever you call it now. Josh gives up. And when Cody is desperate for people who aren't interesting, he sometimes lets me on the Jaguars Fan Battle. So this has been another successful episode of the AFC South Fan Battle. The only thing left to remind folks is that Sam, though she's not here, still, in fact, does love Jalen Ramsey. Catch you later.
Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house.